In a dramatic escalation of tensions between the executive branch and the judiciary, Donald Trump announced a sweeping new round of tariffs on key imports just hours after delivering a blistering public attack on members of the Supreme Court of the United States, calling several justices a disgrace. Following a ruling that dealt a setback to his administration's policy agenda, the twin developments underscored an increasingly confrontational political climate in which economic policy, judicial authority, and campaign-style rhetoric have become deeply intertwined. The move sent immediate ripples through global financial markets, alarmed trade partners, and reignited a fierce debate in Washington over the limits of presidential power and the independence of the nation's highest court. According to senior administration officials, the newly announced tariffs will target a broad range of industrial and consumer goods, with a particular focus on countries accused by the White House of engaging in what it described as unfair trade practices and currency manipulation. In a statement delivered from the White House, he argued that the tariffs would force trading partners back to the negotiating table and create leverage for securing more favorable bilateral agreements. However, economists warned that the immediate effect would likely be higher costs for American businesses and consumers, as importers pass on the increased duties through supply chains. The announcement came on the same day that the Supreme Court issued a ruling blocking a key component of the administration's regulatory strategy, a decision that legal analysts described as a significant reaffirmation of judicial oversight. The ruling, decided by a narrow majority, centered on the limits of executive authority in implementing sweeping policy changes without explicit congressional approval. In a sharply worded opinion, the court emphasized the constitutional principle of checks and balances, asserting that major economic and regulatory actions must remain subject to legislative scrutiny. Legal scholars and former federal judges from across the ideological spectrum expressed concern that such rhetoric could erode public confidence in the judiciary, which has traditionally relied on its perceived independence and legitimacy rather than enforcement power. Chief among their worries was the potential for the remarks to intensify partisan divisions around the court at a time when its decisions are already subject to intense political scrutiny. On Capitol Hill, reaction to the dual developments split largely along party lines. Trump's allies praised the tariff announcement as a bold defense of American workers and industries, arguing that previous administrations had failed to confront systemic trade imbalances. They also echoed his criticism of the court, contending that unelected judges should not be allowed to obstruct policies that they say reflect the mandate of voters. Opponents, however, accused the former president of attempting to deflect attention from the legal setback by launching a trade action designed to energize his political base. Several lawmakers warned that the tariffs could trigger retaliatory measures from major trading partners, potentially harming American exporters, particularly in the agricultural and technology sectors.